We're going to look at hosting a meeting in Teams. I'm going to show you 3 ways of doing that, but once you've actually started the meeting itself, once you get in, everything's the same, whichever way you go through it. So I'll show you the easy way first. If you're in a team in one of the channels and you go to start a new conversation, you'll see that the 5th icon across is this little video camera icon, and if you hover over it, it says Meet Now. If we click that, this will pop up. It will now show you your webcam image. I've actually got a sticker over my webcam, but this will show you webcam image. The first time you do this, it may ask you to give permissions for your webcam to be included into Teams, give permission for your microphone. That's fine, just give them permission. I can from here turn my webcam on or off. If you've got multiple cameras, so for instance you're on a tablet and you've got a rear-facing camera and a front-facing camera, or you've got a integrated webcam onto a laptop and an external webcam, by clicking on camera you could switch between the different cameras. You can also schedule a meeting from here, but I'll show you that in a second anyway. We can add a subject if we want, and then we just click Meet Now. Now for anyone in the team, a little conversation will pop up saying there's a meeting going on, and there's a blue button that's got join written in it. They click join and they will come into this meeting. If everyone gives permission for their webcam to be used, you will see on here the last 4 people who have made a noise in their webcam, and we'll talk about that in a second. Very soon they are upgrading this, so you will see the last 9 people who have made a noise in their webcam, but at the moment of recording it's 4. But what you'll see here is this is my webcam. Like I say, I've got a sticker over my camera, which is why you can't see anything. When I hover over here, this bar will pop up. I can turn my webcam off, and I can click it and turn it back on again. I can also do the same with my microphone. I can mute the microphone and I can unmute it. Good practice in a Teams meeting, or indeed in any kind of video conferencing that you're doing. If you're not speaking, mute your microphone. This is because as you move in your chair, it may make a noise which goes through the mic, and then it can actually interrupt other people, and your image can start popping up on the list of people who have made a noise when you didn't mean to, and that sort of thing. So it is good practice to mute your microphone if you're not speaking. The next icon is to share the desktop. Again, this is available for anyone, but what you can do is you can click share the desktop. It asks you what you want to share. So I can share the desktop, so anything that I see on my screen, the other people in the meeting can see. Or I can actually share individual windows. So if I've got, say, a Word document open, an Excel document, a PowerPoint document, but I just want them to see what I'm doing in Word, I can just share Word. I don't have to share the rest of it. So the desktop is everything, and then you've got individual windows. When you click on, so if I go to share the desktop for instance, I'm not sure if it'll show up on YouTube, but there is a red bar around the edge of the screen. I've still got my meeting there, so it's telling me that I'm still in the meeting. I can minimize that window if I want to. And if I go to the top, this bar will appear. It will tell me I'm presenting. If there are other people in this meeting, I can click give control, and I can actually nominate someone who has control of my machine. And as well as my mouse pointer moving around the screen, you'll see their mouse pointer as well with their icon next to it, so you know that it's them, and they can actually operate your machine as well. That comes in very useful for like remote technical support and things like that. Once I'm done, I can click stop presenting, and we go back to the meeting. Your seat's actually popped up with people, so these are people who are in the team. This is just a test team that we have with only the 2 people in. But you can click on their 3 little dots next to their name and ask them to join, and it will send them a notification to say, this is going on, you've been requested to pop along. If I click on show conversation, then actually if you have a conversation and then you start a meeting, that conversation will play out. Or of course if you start having the conversation now, so you're just typing away, that will also pop up. When you've closed the meeting, it will become its own conversation, so anything that's popped up in here will be in that conversation, so everything's recorded. If you click on the three little dots, you've got a few options here. Show device settings will enable you to change microphones. So if you've got two microphones plugged in, those sort of things. Change webcams again. Show meeting notes. Just like the conversation that plays out, you have these meeting notes as well. If you click take notes, anyone in the meeting can add to these. And again, at the end of the meeting, when we've shut this down, it'll be in the conversation for everyone to access. Full screen will obviously just make it full screen. Background effects. If you've got your webcam on, you could choose these different effects. For a while they've had the blur background, so you will be in focus, but anything behind you will be blurred. Useful for a bit of privacy. And then what they've added recently is all these different sort of areas that you can click on. So there's kind of interplanetary stuff and Minecrafty stuff. So you can just have different backgrounds, and it just gives you that little bit of privacy. You can also turn on live captions. Now this usually takes a couple of seconds to kick in, but what should happen is very shortly, there we go, in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, you can see that everything that I'm saying is being transcribed. Even with my kind of thick black country accent, it's working fine. So if I just turn that off, I can also start a recording. What this will do is record all the audio, record all the video. At the end of the meeting, that recording will go into the conversation for this meeting, so it's accessible by everyone, so you can play back the meeting if you want. It's a good, quick way of keeping a record of things without someone having to do minutes afterwards. It actually uploads it to Microsoft Stream, which is their version of YouTube. Don't panic, it's only available for people who are in the meeting. It's not a publicly available thing. If you're wondering what the little red triangle is that's popping up every so often, my internet is a little bit ropey at home today, and it's just kind of going, your internet's a bit slow, so it's not a problem. If you are, as I am today, experiencing a couple of little glitchy internet things, you can turn off all the incoming video. So any of the webcams that people have got on, if you don't need to see it, you can turn that off, that's fine. It doesn't turn it off for anybody else, it's just for you, and it can help you save that bandwidth if you are having a few problems. We have here end meeting, and we also have a hang up button. They are slightly different. If I have hosted this meeting, so I've started the meeting, and I hang up, and there are other people in the meeting will continue. So the other people can carry on chatting even though I've left. So in a way, the hang up is, I am leaving. You lot can carry on, but I'm leaving. This is very important if you've got a class team and you're doing a meeting with the pupils, in that if you hang up, the pupils will still be in there. And of course there may be a safeguarding or a bullying issue that happens when you're not there. If you want to end the meeting, so you want to kick everyone out the meeting, that is what end meeting is for. If you host the meeting, you can end it and it will kick everyone out. So because it's only me in this meeting, I can do whichever one I want, but I will do end meeting. It will give you a warning. You'll end the meeting for everyone. Yes. It usually gives you an option about call quality. You can put that in as you want to. You can then carry on, do some more feedback, that sort of thing, or you can just dismiss it and go back. You'll then see that a meeting was started by myself, the school staff user, at 15:23. The meeting lasted for 8 minutes and 24 seconds. There's the meeting notes. So here's the conversation. And this is what I'm saying. If we did the recording, after a couple of minutes, it doesn't come up immediately. After a couple of minutes, because he has to process the video, you will get a box pop up there with the recording in, and anyone who's in that meeting or anyone in the team can then look at that recording. So that's a very quick way of starting a meeting, of hosting a meeting, is just to click the Meet Now icon. The other way we can do it, you'll notice when we clicked on there, it says schedule a meeting. What you can do is you can go to your calendar and go new meeting. Fill this in as you normally would, so you can set the date and the time and the length of the meeting and all that sort of thing. And then in add channel, if you click on that, it'll bring up all the teams you're a member of. You can go to a specific channel, and then when you send that, it will tell everyone on that channel there's a meeting planned for this time, this date, and then when you start that meeting, the join button will appear. Before that meeting, people can add it to their own calendar and that sort of thing. So it's like Meet Now, but it's just scheduling it, that's all. And then the other way we can do it is if we go into the chat. So these are one-to-one chats that we have with people. You'll notice that there's a chat with one of the other dummy users. What I can do is I can either click on the video call or the audio call and start a meeting with that person. I can also have group chats in here, so there could be up to 80 people in one of these chats. And if you do a video or audio call, it sends a message out to everyone saying this is going on. It's like receiving a phone call on a device. What I can also do is share my desktop. Again, this is very useful if you've got your IT technician needs to remote into your machine. You can use share desktop so they can see what you're doing, take control and fix your problem remotely. One thing worth pointing out is the share screen, share desktop setting is only available in the app version of Teams. If you're looking at this in a web browser, it won't be there. So that very quickly shows you how to host and join a meeting within Teams. Things to bear in mind, obviously, is if it's with pupils, make sure that you end the meeting at the end and don't just hang up. It's also good practice, like I say, to mute your microphone. And finally, if you are recording the meeting, it does pop up with a little message, but just in case people miss that, it's worth telling everyone in the meeting that we're going to start recording, just as good practice.